All right, thanks, guys. Vanderbilt takes on Tennessee. That's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off at Tennessee. The Volunteers open the betting as the 18.5-point favorite, total at 147.5. At the moment, 63% of the consensus is leaning toward the Volunteers, 54% shaded toward the under. Now, Vanderbilt's just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7, just 1-7 straight up in their last 8 games on the road. Vanderbilt ranks 245th in the nation in road scoring at just 61 points per contest in that category there. They also rank 216th in road defensive rebounding. Now, Tennessee, on their side of things, they're 13-8 against the spread when laying the points. They're also covering 80% of their games, taking on teams under 500. Tennessee is led by Grant Williams, who's dropping 19 points per contest. Tennessee also ranks second in the country in field goal percentage, shooting 51% from the field in that category there. Now, total-wise, Tennessee is 9-5 to the under in their games on their home court. Vanderbilt 5-0 to the under in their games at the current posted total. Vanderbilt's also 6-3 to the under on the road and 10-3 to the under when the line was more than 145. Give me the Volunteers of Tennessee minus 18 after buying the half a point and the under 147.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Purdue at Indiana, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off at Indiana. The Boilermakers of Purdue open the betting as the 4.5-point favorite, total at 140.5. And since those markets opened that game up, we're not seeing a whole lot of movement on the total. We're still at that 140.5 number, but we are seeing steady money toward Purdue in the early going here. That spread has actually moved a full point in their direction. So right now, Purdue's minus 5.5. So with all that in mind, Purdue once again opened minus 4.5 up to minus 5.5. Totals at 140 and a hook. 71% is leaning toward the Purdue Boilermakers. 51% shaded toward the over in that matchup there. Now, if you like Purdue in this game here, just keep in mind they're taking on an Indiana team. I get it. They've been struggling. They've actually been wretched as of late. But they're still 10-4 straight up on their home court. They rank 14th in the nation in home field goal percentage, shooting 51% from the field in that category. Indiana's led by Romeo Langford, who's dropping 17 points per contest. Meanwhile, the Hoosier defense is allowing just 62 points per contest on their home court. So they've been pretty good in certain categories despite their current skid. Now, Purdue, on their side of things, they failed to cover the spread in 3 out of their last 4. They're also just 2-5 against the spread in their games that were played with less than 4 days off. So under short rest, not so good against the number for Purdue. And the Boilermakers also rank 176 in road offensive field goal percentage, shooting just 41% from the field in that category there. They also rank 186th in road defensive field goal percentage, allowing their opponents to shoot 47% from the field in that category there as well. Now, total-wise, Purdue is 5-2 to the over in their last 7, 6-3 to the over in their games, taking on teams averaging 67 to 72 points per contest. And when it comes to the total on the Indiana side of things, they're 75% to the over in their last 4. So with all that said and done, I'm actually going to lean toward the home dog in this matchup here. I'm also going to purchase the half a point and buy it up. Give me Indiana plus 6, getting the job done at home in the over 140.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Maryland. We're looking for them. There they are. Maryland at Iowa, 8 o'clock tip-off at the Hawkeyes. Iowa opened the betting as the 2-point favorite. Total open 148.5. And since that one opened up, we're getting steady two-way action when it comes to the spread. Not a whole lot of movement when it comes to that number there. We are seeing movement toward the under when it comes to the total. That moved half a point downward to 148 even. So once again, the Hawkeyes open 2. They remain minus 2. Total open 148.5 down to 148 even. 57% are leaning Iowa. 66% shaded toward the under. Now, if you like Iowa at home here, I think you're in a pretty good spot. They're taking on a Maryland team who ranks 195th in the nation in road scoring at just 66 points per contest. Maryland also ranks just 137th in road field goal percentage, shooting just 42% from the field when traveling. Maryland's just 6-8 against the spread, taking on teams over 650. They're covering just 20% of their games, taking on teams allowing more than 72 points per contest. Now, on the Iowa side of things, they're led by Tyler Cook, who's dropping 15 points per contest. The Hawkeyes also rank 27th in scoring and 26th in three-point shooting. Now, the Hawkeyes are 7-5 against the spread, taking on teams over 650. They're also 7-4 ATS, taking on teams allowing less than 67 points per contest. When it comes to the total, Iowa is 67% to the under in their games at the current number. Maryland 8-3 to the under in their games when traveling. Give me the Iowa Hawkeyes -2, getting the job done at home in the under 148 in that matchup there. All right, next game we're going to dive into. It is going to be Florida State at Clemson. That's going to be a 9 o'clock tip-off at Clemson. The Tigers open the betting as the 2-point favorite. Total opened at 134. And since that one opened up, we're seeing a steady and consistent fade of Clemson when it comes to the spread. We're also seeing movement toward the under on the total as well. Right now, the Tigers are -1, totals at 133.5. So once again, Clemson opened -2, down to -1. Total open 134, down to 133.5. 60% are leaning Florida State, 53% shaded toward the under. Now, if you like Florida State in this matchup here, just keep in mind they're taking on a Clemson team who ranks 18th in home points allowed at just 60 a game. Very, very good defensive-wise at home, allowing just 60 points per contest. That puts them at 18th in the country in that category there. Clemson also ranks 14th in defensive rebounding. Now, the Tigers are led by Elijah Thomas, who's bringing down 7 boards per contest. They're also led by Marquise Reed, who's dropping 16 points per contest. Clemson is 6-1 against the spread in their last 7. They're covering 67% of their games after 4 or less days off. Now, Florida State's just 3-4 against the spread, taking on teams between 500 and 650, and that's the win percentage. So whenever Florida State takes on teams between 500 and 650, they're just 3-4 against the number against those squads. They're also ranking 170th in shooting the 3-ball. Not very good from downtown. Now, when it comes to the total, Florida State is 3-1 to the over in their last 4, 6-2 to the over in their last 8. And Clemson, on their side of things, they're 5-2 to the over, taking on teams allowing 67 to 72 points per contest. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward the home favorite in this one. Give me the Clemson Tigers -1 and the over 133.5 in that matchup there. All right, next and final game for our college slate. It is going to be Kentucky at Missouri, 9 o'clock tip-off at Mizzou. Kentucky open -11, total open 133.5. And since that one opened up, not a whole lot of movement on the spread. We're still at -11 for Kentucky. But we are seeing a little bit of movement upward on the total. That moved up to 134. So once again, the Wildcats open and remain -11. Total open 133.5 up to 134 even. 67% are leaning Kentucky, 65% shaded toward the over. Now, the Wildcats have failed to cover in 4 out of their last 8, taking on teams between 500 and 650. I know we used that stat in the previous game. We're going to use that here as well. So when Kentucky takes on teams between a win percentage of 500 and 650, they failed to cover in 4 out of their last 8. Kentucky's also failed to cover in 5 out of their last 10 games when playing under 4 days of rest. So in playing games under 4 days off between each other, they failed to cover in 5 out of their last 10. Now, Kentucky ranks 169th in the country in defending the 3-ball. And when it comes to this Missouri team, they're 8-5 against the spread on their home court. They rank 46th in the country in defensive rebounding. Missouri's led by Jeremiah Tillman, who's dropping 6 boards a game. He's getting 6 rebounds per contest. And Jordan Geist is leading the charge with 13 points per contest for the Tigers. Missouri's 4-2 against the spread as the home dog this year, 10-5 straight up on their home court. When it comes to the total, Mizzou is 5-2 to the over in their last 7. This Kentucky offense, well, they're scoring nearly 80 points per game. So I think we'll see our fair share of points scored despite the low total. But I think Missouri can keep it close. Give me Mizzou plus 11, getting the job done at home in the over 134 in that matchup there. All right, let's go ahead and slide into a couple hockey matchups. I got 3 to take a look at for you.